Okay, so I'll just go to the last class and let's see if we can take something from over there. So basically, as we have already talked about, there are these are the techniques of capital budgeting. That means whenever you have an investment option, whenever you have an investment proposal, you are going to evaluate those proposals using these techniques. And if the answer is positive, or not answer, if I mean if the result is conclusive and you are sure that there is going to be some advantage, only then you're going to accept the project. Otherwise, you're going to reject the project. So there are two type of techniques. First is traditional techniques. In traditional techniques, we use non-discounted methods. That means time value of money is ignored. Time value of money is, it is ignored. It is not taken into account. It is not taken into consideration. And there were two methods that we talked about. First was your payback period, and second was your accounting rate of return. Payback period and accounting rate of return. Accounting rate of return means profit. Okay. When we talk about discounted payback or discounting techniques, there are four techniques that we basically talk about. First was net present value. I'll explain all these techniques once again in short, and then we'll solve a lot of questions in today's class, and then we're going to finish this topic. I think we have dedicated around 15 to 20 classes, not 15, not 20, maybe 15, 10 to 15 classes to this topic, and this was a very important topic. So I've tried to, I've taken it very slow. Yes. Second is profitability index. Third is internal rate of return, and fourth is discounted payback. Okay. I'll talk about all these topics again, that there is no confusion, and then we'll solve the questions of IRR. Yes. Okay. Chali, I'm starting with the session. Come on. So the first method that we talk about was payback period. Payback period means what is the in which time in which we can recover our investment. Okay, what is the time in which we can recover the investment? What is going to be the decision criteria? Decision criteria. Decision criteria will be lesser the payback period. Okay, better it is. By as soon as we are able to recover our investment, the amount that we have invested, the risk that we have taken, it is better. If there are two projects A and B, and the payback period of A is 2 years and payback period of B is 4 years, we are going to select project A because the payback period is less. We are going to recover our amount that we have invested earlier as compared to project B, and as soon as we recover the amount, our risk reduces. That is why we're going to go for project A. So decision criteria is this. Now there are two cases that we have to talk about. There are two cases that we will talk about. Yes. Case 1 and case 2. Case 1 is in case of equal cash inflows. In case of equal cash inflow, and second is in case of unequal cash inflows. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of equal cash inflow? This means every year 1, 2, 3, I'm getting the same return or same cash inflow. That is, let's say, assume 5,000, 5,000, and 5,000. This is the meaning of equal cash inflows. What is the meaning of unequal cash inflow? This means year 1, 2, 3, cash inflow is 5,000, 7,000, 9,000. Okay, inflow is not equal. So how do we solve this problem? The formula for payback period. The formula is total investment upon total investment upon total investment upon Yes, cash inflow. What is the payback period in case of unequal? We are going to calculate the cumulative cash inflows. Cumulative cash inflows. For the first year, it is 5,000. For the second year, that means what is the amount that you have recovered at the end of second year? That is 7 plus 5. 7 plus 5, that is 12,000. Okay, and 12 plus 9, that is 21,000. Okay, that is 21,000. Are you getting? This is cumulative cash inflows, and the formula is years plus cash inflow required upon cash inflow earned in that year. Okay, this is all about payback period. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, now the second method that we were talking about, it's also very easy. The second method is accounting rate of return. Okay, now what is accounting rate of return? The accounting rate of return, it means we will use profit. Sorry, we'll use profit for calculation. Okay, and not cash flows. Like all other methods. In all other methods, we are going to use cash flows, but in this method, we are not going to use cash flows. We are going to use profit instead of flows. Okay, and we are going to calculate the accounting rate of return. The return would be profit upon investment into 100. Like we generally calculate profit, that is the same formula, profits upon investment into 100. This is the same formula, and this can be average profit and average investment and all those things. That is, will be given to you in the question, depends on the information that is given to you in the question, but the basic formula remains the same. We are going to calculate the average rate or the average profit that we are earning on our investments. We calculate profit. The rate of profit is 25%. And in some other project, let's say in project B, the rate is 30%. We are going to select the project that is the highest accounting return. Okay, but this method is not preferred because it uses profit instead of cash flow, and profit is not the right evaluation or is not the right measure of performance of the organization when talking from finance perspective. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the topics or to the techniques in which we are going to use the concept of time value of money. First is, let's say, discounted payback. Discounted payback period. Okay, in the normal payback period, we just take the cash inflow directly and we calculate the payback period. But in this technique, what we are going to do is same. There are going to be two. First is equal cash inflows, and second is unequal cash inflows. Okay, by equal cash inflow, same example, year 1, 2, 3, cash inflow 5,000, 5,000 and 5,000. Okay, now I'll apply the discounting factor. Let's say if the rate is 10%. If the rate is 10%. Okay, so how am I going to calculate? See, these things are important. So please make sure that it is clear and you have no confusions in all of these things. How do you calculate discounting factor? You know the formula, you know everything. This is how you have to calculate. 1 divided by 1.1 if the rate is 10%. If the rate is 12%, then 1 divided by 1.12. Okay, equals to, this is for first year. Okay, then if I press equal to again, this is for second year. Then for third year, then fourth year, fifth year, sixth, so on. I hope this is clear to everyone. There is no confusion. Okay, so now we are going to calculate the discounting factor. So the discount factor for 10% is 0.909, 0.826, and 0.751. Yes. Okay, now we are going to calculate the present value of cash inflows. Okay, and then from this amount we are going to calculate the payback period using cumulative cash inflows technique. Okay, in case of unequal cash flow, same year 1, 2, 3 cash inflows 5,000, 7,000, and 9,000. Okay, I'll apply I'll apply the discounting cash flows, and using this amount I'm going to calculate my payback period, like I was always calculating my payback period. The formula is going to be the same, everything is going to be the same, but instead of using this amount that I was using before, I'm going to use the discounted cash inflows. Okay, the second method, the next method that we're going to talk about is the logic behind using 1.1 is very easy, very simple. Pay attention. The formula is future value is equal to present or principal or present value into 1 plus r raised to the power n. Okay, this is the basic formula of calculating interest. This is the formula of calculating compound interest. If you have if you have studied compound interest in class 10th or somewhere, this is the formula that we use for compound interest, and we always apply the principle of compound interest. So if you have to calculate the present value, the formula is future value upon 1 plus r raised to the power n. This is the present value. Okay, this is the present value, and I want to calculate the present value of my cash inflows, like this inflow that is happening at the end of 1 year, or at the end of second year, at the end of third year. I want to calculate the present value, right? This is the future value by I'm standing today, that is 0. I'm standing today, this is 0 years right now today. Now after 1 year, this is 1 year, this is second year, third year. So this is like today, what is the amount after 1 year? 5,000. After 2 year 5,000. After 3 year 5,000. I'm calculating what if I received all the amount today. If I received all the amount today. So I'm calculating if I received everything today, right now, then what would be the value of this 5,000? What will the value of this 5,000 and this 5,000? So I'm calculating present value, right? I'm calculating present value, and the future value is given to me in the question. So in this formula, I'll calculate present value. The formula is this, and let's assume that rate is 10%. Okay, so I'll put the rate in this formula. The formula is future value is equal upon 1 plus r raised to power n is equal to present value. Okay, this is nothing new. This formula is not new. So 1 upon, I'm calculating the value for rupees 1. I'm calculating the value for rupees 1. Okay. One plus rate is 10%. 10 upon 100 raised to power 1. If I'm calculating for 1 year. Okay, if I'm calculating for 1 year, then the formula is this. Okay. 1 upon 1 plus 0.1 raised to the power 1. This is 1 upon 1.1. Rishu Singh, please mute yourself, okay? Mr. Rishu? Yes. Okay, so it becomes 0.909. If I want to calculate for second year, if I want to calculate the discounting factor for second year, now, okay, this is the Discounting factor, if I want to calculate the value of this 5,000, it would be 5,000 into 0.909. Okay, this gives me 4545. What this means is the value of this 5,000. If I receive this 5,000 today, the value would be 4545. Or in other words, 4545 of today is equal to 5,000 after 1 year. Okay, let's say the question says 4545 is your principal. Okay, rate is 10%. What would be the amount after 1 year? What will be the amount after 1 year? How will you calculate? Amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r raised to the power n, right? So principal is 4545 into 1 plus 10 upon 100. This is 0.1. So basically it is 4545 into 1.1. This gives me into 1.1. If okay, if I calculate using the calculator on the screen so that you guys can also see it, it is 4545 multiply by 1.1 gives me 5,000. Okay, this is like round off. It is 5,000. It is 5,000. Are you getting what is happening? And
Yes, sir.
same way I'll calculate it for second year as well, and it would be 1 upon 1.1 raised to the power 2. That means what would be the value of this 5,000 if I received it today? The value would be, I'll calculate, 0.826 into 5,000. This will give me 5,000 into 0.826. This is 4130. And you're going to use these discounted cash flows for calculation. That is the only difference. So if I talk about the next method, that is NPV method, or the net present value, or the net present value. So what is the net present value? That means the present value of cash outflow, sorry, present value of cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow. This is my net present value. Okay, what am I earning? What am I gaining? Net of inflows and outflows. I'll take an example. I'll take a question. This is going to be my net present value. Okay. What is the decision criteria? If this is positive or more than zero, or more than zero, then accept the proposal. If it is less than zero or it is equal to zero, then you can reject the proposal. See, what is the meaning of more than or less than? If the present value of cash inflows, that means whatever you're getting in the future, okay, the present value of all the cash inflows that you will receive in the future is, let's say, 5,000. And the amount that you're investing today, or the present value of cash outflow, whatever is going to be your outflow, is, let's say, 4,000. So you are getting net 1,000. This is your earning, right? So you will accept the proposal. On the other hand, if this is not 4,000, this is 6,000. This is 6,000. In that case, you're losing 1,000 rupees. Will you accept the proposal? No, you'll reject the proposal. It's very logical, very easy. Okay, so I'll take an example. Let's see if I can find a question of net present value, and we'll try to solve that question. Okay, I think we have already solved this question. I'll take a new question. Just give me 1 second, okay? Okay. So this is a question. Illustration number 16. The expected cash flows of three projects are given to you. The cost of capital is 10%. Calculate the payback period, net present value, internal rate of return, and accounting rate of return for each project. Show the ranking of the project by each of the following methods. Okay, so I'll not solve this question in detail. We'll just take this project C. I'm just going to pick this information and then I'm going to use this information to calculate the net present value and explain the method to you. Okay, the purpose is not to solve the question but to explain all the methods. So I'm taking project C. Okay, illustration number 16. I'm talking about only project C. Okay, you should also know how to read the question. See, period 0, that means today, right now, negative 5,000. It's in the bracket, right? So that means negative 5,000. That means this is our cash outflow. We have to invest, or this is the amount that we have to invest. What is your return? So after 1 year from today, you will get 2,000. Then after 2 years, you will get 2,000 more. Then 2,000, then 1,000. Okay, if I put it on a graph, if I put it on a timeline, on a time scale, so that you can understand better. This is my time scale. This is 0 or today. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. This is years. Okay, so first this is 2,000, 2,000, 2,000 and 1,000. Okay, and today 5,000 is negative. What does this mean? This means that today you have to invest 5,000 rupees. So this is your cash outflow. It's in negative, right? So this is your cash outflow. This is the amount you have to invest to earn this return. This return would be after 1 year from today. This return would be after 2 years from today. Okay, these are all your cash inflows. This is cash inflow, right? So if you don't know the principle, or if you're not applying the principle of time value of money, you would say, okay, I'm investing 5,000 and in return I'm getting 7,000 rupees. So this is a fairly reasonable return. Okay, I'll accept the proposal. But since we know the time value of money, we'll calculate. Okay, if I calculate net present value, it would be NPV is equal to cash inflow minus cash outflow, right? 7,000 minus 5,000. So you will say, okay, I'm gaining 2,000 rupees. Okay, let's accept the proposal. But this might not be the case, because the value of this 1,000 after 4 years from today would not be 1,000. Applying the principle of time value of money, right? Because of inflation and because of so many other factors that we've already talked about in sufficient detail. Okay, the amount, the value, although the amount would be 1,000, but the value this rupee carry would not be the same, or the amount 5,000 that we are investing today. So we're going to calculate the present value. So I'm going to make a table kind of a thing. It's going to have years 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is my cash flow. That is 5,000 negative, and 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, and 1,000. Okay. Now I'll calculate discounting factors at the rate. What was the rate? %. The rate 10%. At the rate 10%. This can be anything. It can be 11, 12, 13, 14. It doesn't matter at all. Discounting factor. How will I calculate discounting factor? It's very easy. For year 0, the discounting factor would be 1. Would be 1. That means the value of 1 rupee today is equal to 1 rupee. Right? The value of 1 rupee is equal to 1 rupee. It will be same in all the rates. For the second, it would be 0.909, 0.826, 0.751, 0.632. Maybe. Let's see. 0.909, 0.826, 0.751, 0.683. 0.683. This is my discounting factor at the rate 10%. Now I calculate the present value. I calculate the present value. This would be 5,000 negative, and that would be 2000 in 2000 into 0.909, it would be 1818. So what does this mean? Okay, I hope you're getting it. I'm saying that although yes, you will receive this amount after 1 year, but the value would not be 2000, the value would only be 1818. Okay, next, 2000 into 0.826, this is 1652. Then 2000 into 0.751, 1502, and 1000 into point, yeah, this would be 683. Okay, now I'll add all this and subtract this. I'll get what is the net amount that I'm getting and what is the amount that I'm investing. So I'll calculate net present value. This would be 1818 plus 1652 plus 1562 plus 683 equals to 5715, and this is 5000 negative. So my net present value is 715. Net present value is 715. So this is what I'm earning. Okay, instead of 2000, I'm not earning 2000. Okay, I'm only earning this amount, that is 715. Okay, but it is still positive, so I'll gladly accept the proposal. I'll be like, okay, ultimately I'll make 715 rupees, it's fine, I will accept the proposal. This is net present value method. If I talk about the next method, that is profitability index. Okay, profitability index, this is nothing but extension of net present value. This topic is nothing but this is just extension of net present value, and this means that you are comparing this. Okay, what if, okay, what if there are two projects, this is project A, this is project A, okay, and we also, oh, sorry, this is project C, this is project C, right? Okay, why to give it our name, we can just take C. So let's see, if I compare project B, if I compare project B, so here the investment is same and the return is over a very long period of time. So the question is, how will we evaluate? Or let's take a new, like a fictional. We don't have to pick the question. Let me just give you another project. That is project A. I should give it to you over here. Okay, project A. Right. So in project A, the cash outflow is 10,000. In project B, C, it was 5,000. In project A, it was 10,000. So if you're investing more amount, the return would obviously be more. The return would obviously be more. So how will we compare both the projects? Okay, the problem is, how are we going to compare both the projects? So in that case, we calculate the profitability index. Okay, and the profitability index is total present value upon cash outflow. Okay, so for project profitability index for project C would be total present value. My total present value was 5715, would be 5715 divided by outflow is 5000. This gives me 1.143. Okay, same way I'll calculate for project B and for project A, and it will be somewhere in points like 1.25 or 0.90. So then it would be easier. I can just compare all these projects, and the project that has the highest profitability index, I'm going to select that project. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. Acha, okay, this was point number second, net present value. This is third point. This is third. And the last thing that we have to talk about is what is IRR, internal rate of return, or IRR. Okay, so what is happening in IR? What is the basic concept? Okay, you have to understand the concept, and I'm focusing so much on these concepts, and I'm explaining it again and again because I want you guys to understand ki, bhai, what is happening. I just don't want you to learn the formulas and apply the formulas, and you'll be like, there are so many formulas, and we cannot learn so many formulas. It's so confusing. It's not confusing. If you understand the logic behind the formulas, every formula has a logic, right? But we never pay attention to it. If you understand the logic behind the formula, I think things would be easier, and you'll be able to retain more, and everything is going to be good. So, what is internal rate of return? That means the internal rate of return of a project. Of a project. What does this mean? This means that we have to calculate a rate. Which rate? The rate at which present value of cash inflow is equal to present value of cash outflow. Okay, we have to find out a rate, and a rate at which the present value of cash inflow is equal to present value of cash outflow. Then we are going to compare this rate versus our cost of capital. We're going to compare this rate versus our cost of capital. If this rate is more, let's say the rate is 10% and my cost of capital is 9%, then I'll gladly accept the proposal because I'm getting 10% and the required amount is 9%. So everything above 9 I'll accept. Okay. And if the rate is 8% and my cost of capital is 9%, then I will not accept the proposal because I'm earning 8% and I have to pay, or my cost is 9%. So it won't make any sense to accept the proposal. Make sense? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. And for this, we use the present value factor table, and we can also use the hidden trial method. To calculate the rates, okay, rate or the higher rate and lower rate. We're going to calculate these two. Either we can go to the table and we can look at the table and then we can pick up the rates, or we can use hidden trial method and then we can calculate the rate, and we'll get two rates. Okay, by mistake. It will be lower rate and higher rate. And then we are going to apply the formula of IRR, and the formula is lower rate plus present value at the rate lower rate upon present value at the rate lower rate minus present value at the rate higher rate into higher rate minus lower rate. This is the formula for IRR. This is the formula that we are applying. And if you look closely, and if you can see, if you can look closely, this is the same thing. This is, don't think that it is very different, or I don't know what is going on. No, it's very easy. Let me just explain. Okay, let me make you see what I'm trying to say. Yes, this formula is nothing. This is just the same formula that we apply for payback period. Whenever we have to calculate the rate, okay, because lower rate is going to be there. Like for example, 12%. 12% is going to be there. But the remaining formula is the same formula that we apply for the payback period cumulative. Right? And the formula is, let me see where I've written the formula. Yes, this is the same formula. Rate, instead of years, I've taken rate. That is lower rate. Then plus what is the cash inflow that I require upon cash flow earned in that year. Okay, so it's grossly the same formula. So you can relate, like if you study by relating, and nothing is to be studied in isolation. Okay, so if you study by relating everything, things are going to be very easy. So I'll just take one example if I have time. Yes, I have time, so I can take one example. Yes, I'll take this example only. For project C, we're going to try to calculate the what do you say, I for project C. I'll take the project C again. Let's just yes. So cash outflow is 5,000 and cash inflow is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2000, 2000, 2000, and 1000. Okay. Now, what do you do in IRR? Okay, don't look at the formula. Don't be intimidated by the formula. Such a huge formula. We don't know how to do it. It's very easy. Just okay. We have to calculate a rate. Okay, what do we have to do? 5,000 equals to this inflow. We have to calculate a rate at which this inflow would be equal to 5,000. Okay, we have to calculate a rate at which this inflow would be equal to 5,000. Okay, and how much time do we have? We have 4 years. We have 4 years. Right? So if I use hit and trial method, by using a table we have already talked about in the previous class, now I use hit and trial method to calculate the rate. So let me just take the rate as 12. I'll just assume what is the minimum hit and trial. I'll just pick any rate and I'll see if the equation is satisfying or not. If the equation not is satisfying, then I'll take another rate. Let's say the rate is 12%. So cash inflow is, sorry, it's year 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cash inflow 2000, 2000, 2000, and 1000. Okay, I'll just okay. Now my rate is 12%. Rate is 12%. So I'll calculate the discounting factor at the rate 12%. Okay. How are we going to calculate that? It's very easy. Okay. 1 divided by 1.12. Okay. 1 divided by 1.12. This is 0.893 because 8. So I'll round it off. 0.893. This is 0.893. Then next 797. 797. Next 0.712. And next 0.653. Now multiply, I'll calculate the present value. This is 2000 into 0.893, 2000 into 0.797, 2000 into 0.712, and 2000 into 0.653. This is 6110. I'll write everything. 0.786. I hope you guys are also sitting with a calculator and you guys are also trying to calculate with me. 1594. This is 2000 into 0.72. This is 1424. And this is 653. And if I add all this, 1786 plus 1594 plus 1424 plus 653. This gives me, see, I could tell this is not right. This is 5457. This is 5457. Is this equal to 5,000? No, this is not equal to 5,000. So we'll take a lower rate. We'll take a lower rate. Now I'll calculate the discount factor using 10%. This is 0.909, 0.826, 0.751, 0.683. Okay, I've been doing it for a long time, so I remember this. You don't have to remember it. You can use the calculator. The calculator would be allowed in the exam. The present value would be 2000 into 0.909. This is 1818. So I'm just ending the class in 2 minutes. Okay, don't worry about it. The present value is 5715. right? You can see the present value is 5715. We have already calculated. The present value is 5715. 5715. So the value is increasing, but actually we want it to reduce so that we can go close to 5000. So now I'll take the discounting factor at the rate 14%. I'll keep repeating this. This is what hit and tile method is all about, right? Now I'll calculate discount factor at the rate 14%. This would be 1 divided by 1.14 equals to 0.877, 0.769, 0.675, 0.592. I'll calculate the present value. The present value would be 0.877, 0.877 into 2000. This is 1754. 2000 into 0.769 is 1538. 2000 into 0.675. This is 1350. And 1000 into 0.592 is equal to this. So this is 5529. No, there is some mistake. Let me just add it separately. 1754 plus 1538 plus 1350 plus 592. This is 5234. Okay, there's some calculation error. This is 5234. This is still not equal to 5000, right? So now I'll calculate again by 16%, then 18%. And whenever I'll calculate two rate, what I'll do, I'll calculate two rates. For example, I'm just assuming now because the class is, the time is running out. I'm just assuming. Let's say at 18%, this is equal to 4990, and at 17%, this is equal to 5100, and 5000 is going to lie somewhere over here. So these are the two rates that we are going to use. This is the lower rate, this is the higher rate, and then I'm going to apply these rates in the formula, in this formula, and I'm going to calculate IRR. This was all about capital budgeting. I hope it is clear to you. I totally understand that this topic can seem a little bit difficult in one go. So all the videos will be uploaded. You are requested to please go and watch the videos. And if there is any problem of any sort, please let me know and I can explain everything again. No problems. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture.